This weekend, there's been a lot of speculation about where Mullen Automotive stock could land in the coming days with the potential of a reverse stock split. One thing's for sure is it's not going to $50 per share. Hi again, everyone. I hope you're all doing really well. So this week, obviously, or this weekend, a lot of people have been out there speculating about Mullen Automotive and the fact that they now have the ability to enact a reverse stock split. Now, there's kind of two camps here. Some people think that, yes, they have to, enact the stock split to regain compliance before September 6. However, there's also some who, still want further clarity around what's the actual official status with Mullen and their listing status, because we obviously had the PR back in May saying that they are compliant. However, they remain on the NASDAQ non-compliant list, so someone needs to come out and say something official there. So there's two camps. Either way, the stock's really beaten down. It's 12 cents per share. The reality is there's going to be a reverse split probably sooner rather than later. It's a hard truth to swallow, but I think that's what we're going to be facing. Now, in terms of what the reverse split could be, I've heard someone, and I've seen people write in comments that they think that the reverse split will send the stock to $50. Now, on its own, that's actually impossible, because based on the current numbers anyway, based on a 12 cent per share price that we had on Friday, if the full extent of the reverse split is enacted, going 100 for one, that would only take the stock to $12 per share. So I don't know where people got the $50 figure from. Even if they did 50 for one, it would get it to $6. Maybe it might be an issue if someone just didn't carry the decimal point. Anyway, so yeah, the highest this stock could go at the moment is like about $12 per share. Now, what could potentially push it further, and what some people are probably hoping for, is that Mullen uses the $25 million that they've got as basically a sort of metaphorical line in the sand to say that, yep, we're going to put this in, and so anytime that someone tries to sell the stock below this point, we'll just buy it and keep the stock at this level. That's something that they can do, and it would actually be really effective at maintaining confidence in the stock and at least getting it back within compliancy realms by being able to keep the stock price up for 10 to 20 days, because $25 million represents over or about a third of their market cap. So it's actually a significant, buyback in relation to the actual stock price. So that could actually put shorts on a bit of notice. Not that, we've seen them on notice several times in the past, hasn't really done much to stop them, but that's actually quite significant. And the fact that Mullen's already said that they're not going to do any more equity raisings, we've got a few things lining up to suggest that, there's going to be a lot of, possibly a bit of stability returning to the stock price after another reverse split. Now, the other thing that's worth mentioning, I want to talk a little bit, I've talked about this company a couple of times in videos relating to Mullen, because they've gone through a couple of reverse stock splits. That's Exceller Technologies. So there's two things I want to talk about here. The first one is, I've mentioned this one quite commonly. Exceller Technologies has done two very large reverse stock splits in the last 12 to 18 months. And they've gone beyond the 1 for 250 ratio in their reverse splitting. So, they've got to that point where, they won't get any more extensions if they fall back below $1. However, what has happened now is that the stock price since their last reverse split has actually been very stable. It's been floating around that $5 to $6 range for, about 4 months now. They did their last split around the same time as Mullen Automotive. What's happened is liquidity has dried up in the stock. It's hard to push that stock price down. And obviously there's been a bit of a change in fortune for the company. They've been on a better trajectory with their products. Also worth keeping in mind that Exceller Technologies is actually already a revenue generating company, so that weighs in on it too. Now, that's what could potentially happen if Mullen does the top end of, or up towards the higher end of a reverse split. It would dry up liquidity, and potentially bring back a bit of stability. So if you have some good company news to follow, things will be looking quite good. And again, you also got the fact that they can buy back stocks to help maintain that stability. The question is, can they do that for 2 years? That's the gamble, which adds a bit of risk, but at the same time, it's going to actually at least bring some stability. The downside of this, though, however, is that it means that people who who've been holding Mullen Automotive for quite some time might actually be evaporated out of the stock. Now, think of this. If you had 1,000 shares back in January, before the first split, after that first split, when they did 25 for 1, your 1,000 shares became 40. Now, if they do anything more than a 40 for 1 reverse split, which is plausible, they can do up to 100 for 1, you'll basically have no shares left. You should get a little bit of cash back for the equivalent of them, but that's what would happen if you haven't been like adding to like your stock count in that time. So that's pretty harsh. Now, the other lesson I want to talk about from Exceler Technologies is around the urgency of a delisting. So they actually got a notice to be delisted because they fell below 10 cents per share. So they went even further and they got stuck below 10 cents per share. Now, there's a whole appeals process which drags out over a couple of months, and the company has to do things to, get it back to being compliant. So, like if Muln Automotive was to receive a delisting notice, they've actually got avenues to appeal, and they can actually still, usually if they are able to get their stock back up in some sort of time frame, i.e. reverse split, they will regain compliance. And so Exceler Technologies is still trading today. Muln Automotive might be the same. They've got a good case. Like we're pre-revenue. We investigating naked shorting that might be going on in the company. So they've got a strong case to say that they might actually stay listed for some time to come, even if they do get a delisting notice come around September 6th. So I think obviously the reverse split is up their sleeve, and I think it's going to come sooner or later. But yeah, we can only speculate what's going to happen at this point in time. No one really knows exactly, but we can kind of see avenues which are opening up for the company. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. It's Monday here, but I know it's the end of the weekend for most of you. So have a great weekend. And hopefully this week, Muln Automotive turns it around for us. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, everyone, may the markets trade in your favor. Cheers.